I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm fucking scared.
First, you're gonna tell me about this science stuff.
Sorry about that. What is a scientist?
You caught me like I'm experimenting with
Science!
It's like magic with electricity.
I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm smarter than you.
The smartest scientists in the entire world all agree
Science is a liar sometimes.
Seriously, this could not seem less scientific.
Those idiots don't know anything about science.
It's science.
I believe it's pronounced science.
This is the least scientific thing I've ever seen.
So I'm just experimenting with them.
You be quiet.
Thank you, scientist.
What are the guys of Science in the Morning?
Yes. Good morning to Charlie, everyone else, whatever time it is. Hello. This is Chris.
And as you just said, I am Charlie.
Yeah.
So what are you drinking this morning?
I already had a cup of tea, and now I'm on to Gatorade.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I had a cup of it's like mushroom coffee. It's mostly mushroom, but it's just trying it out. It's this stuff called Dose. It's supposed to be.
Oh, like I was going to ask what kind of mushroom. That kind of mushroom. Okay, I'm thinking, interesting.
No, you can buy it in stores. So
Oh, wow.
It is not that kind of mushroom.
Oh, okay. Never mind that. All right. So, but that's what I was more interested in anyway, believe it or not. So, yeah. What kind of mushroom is it?
I don't know. Mushrooms apparently like really good for you and stuff. Neuroplasticity and other big words like that.
Right.
But yeah,
some of the shit other people figured out.
Yeah, and I drink way too much fucking coffee every morning anyway, so trying to wean off that a little bit.
Okay.
But I
switched. Same. I'm black tea. But
yeah. So this is
a
black tea. It's a maple espresso black tea. So I guess I'm kind of defeating the purpose of drinking tea if it's an espresso tea. But baby steps. I got to be awake.
Yeah. Priorities. We have a show to do.
Yeah. And tea's really good, man.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of tea.
It's been a big hit for a long time. It's been around a while.
Yeah. Many different cultures.
What is the process? Well, I guess mushrooms and or tea or whatever. Because like, I guess some stuff, mushrooms in particular, you could figure out, all right, this is probably edible because I'm seeing something else eat it, right? Like the other animals figured it out and humans kind of followed suit.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
But tea, it's like, what if I boil this? Yeah.
Like, were leaves just sitting around, like, just in water? And just somebody looking for any water was just like, oh, there's a puddle. I'll drink that. My word. Just instantly classy.
Right. And if the first person tries, like, a coffee bean that fell in the water and drank that, and then they're hunting something, and they're like, will you shut up? They're going to know we're here. He's like, yeah, but I just, the thrill of the hunt, man, to be out here, we're in the sun. This is living, right? This is the first person to ever have caffeine.
No, this is great. Come on. I bet we could catch this thing. Let's just start running right now. We could totally run this fucking thing down. This is really good, but I feel like if we did this and then we also burned leaves of a different plant and inhaled that, like that would really go together. Those tobacco leaves over there, it'd be nonstop ass kicking. And I don't even feel like I have to eat anymore. Oh, this is great.
Yeah. I don't really like the taste of this. What if, see that baby cow over there? Let's get some of what he's getting. Put that in this. Now I like the taste. The first latte. It'd be fucking ballsy.
Yeah.
A lot of people died along the way to get us here. Just the pumpkin spice.
It's yeah, because there's definitely stuff that even people saw animals eating, and it was like, okay, cool, I'll eat that. And human stomachs were not meant to handle that shit, or any part of their anatomy. I don't know.
You ever
Anatomy?
see Naked and Afraid?
I know of it. Yeah, I've
Okay.
never like watched it, but
I for whatever reason I have watched it, but there was one particular episode where it was like a crew of people that were on it. Maybe it wasn't Naked and Afraid, maybe it was survival kind of thing, because it was, I can't remember the number of people, but it was like it was a good number. But they didn't have anything. They were wandering around trying to find a food source, and they found a tree with a whole bunch of fruit. And a couple of the people right in just, oh, it's so good. They saw monkeys eating it, so they knew monkeys are eating it, we can eat it. Some of the people did not eat it, though. They were like, I don't know, I don't trust it. But like the 5 people that did got these awful stomach pains, and their livers started to shut down. Like one guy didn't want to tap out, but they had no choice. They had to get them all. Their eyes were turning yellow, like they were getting jaundiced.
Holy
and they were like,
shit.
no, we have to get you to a medical facility. And it turns out that the monkeys have some kind of bacteria that they're immune to that's on this fruit, and people are not immune to that same bacteria.
yes. See, fucking
Yep.
can't just go eat. Monkey see, monkey don't.
Right.
Holy shit.
Excellent.
But all this stuff is technically chemistry. How stuff interacts with other stuff.
That is true.
Even figuring out of boiling coffees and teas and such. That's chemistry as well, on a baser level.
Yep. Be sure to boil your fruit.
It's a great, hey baby, I'm gonna boil your fruit. I'm sure that works every single time.
Well, I guess it depends what your goal is.
I was trying to boil her fruit.
Yeah.
She let me boil her fruit.
Worked out. Now her tomatoes are bacteria free. I don't know how to transition from
I
that.
have no idea.
That was weird. We could talk about hey, you know what else is weird? Elements.
Yeah, there are. So there's 120 something elements on the whole periodic table, right? More or less.
Some I don't know. Yeah, it's over 100. We're up over 100. I think we invented some, or like there's some man-made elements out there now. Let me pull this up real quick and see what we got.
Yeah, I got it right here. I remember
I'm seeing
I always
100
loved
plus.
the bottom row.
Yeah, it's like cheating. It like zooms out and all these kind of squish in there, and then back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it goes up to 118. So yeah, you were right in that ballpark.
Cool. Yeah, I don't remember if I had to learn the whole periodic table and be able to name every element. Like they mentioned that in this video at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't ever remember having to do that. We had to know like some of the key ones, the different areas, and the different, like, knowing all the noble gases were on the right side and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't have to memorize them one for one. Hell no.
I remember having to learn the like the suffixes and the prefixes and shit. Where like
I remember regurgitating them on a test and never using them again. Yeah.
Which now, kind of in hindsight, because if you retain that, you can really read a shampoo bottle.
Yeah, right.
Like you get
get something out of it.
Yeah, like, oh, dimethylalanine. That means that there's 2 of this and then 1 of this and then yeah.
Yeah. This shampoo is delicious. Who knew?
It was right in front of me the whole time. My word. All right, this is top 10 strangest elements, which we actually found 2 versions of this. This is the Americanized version, which looks like it ripped off the British one.
Mm-hmm.
The British one is kind of amusing because the guy talks real funny. And as we've established on this show, we really like laughing at how they talk. He He was doing the thing with things that end in ing, like suffering, like where
Right.
you really lean into the G at the end.
Yeah, like sticking that landing.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. This is Faxverse. We'll share it. If Faxverse is the channel, we'll share it in the links, I think. And we're off.
Facts First presents Top 10 Strangest Elements. Currently, there are 118 elements on the periodic table. Many high school students are required to learn each of these elements. Some students are required to learn just the basic ones. On the periodic table, there are some very strange elements as well. And here's a list of the 10 strangest ones. Number 10, gallium. Gallium is a very unique element. It's often used during the manufacturing of electronics. What makes the element so unique is that when it's held in a person's hand, it
Can
will
we just
start
order
to melt.
gallium?
When the temperature
Like, are you allowed to just have gallium? Is it toxic?
I don't think it's toxic. It looks like, yeah, you can hold it in your hand and you're good to go. I think it's not even that reactive because it's used in stuff. Like I think use it in electronics. I'm looking up here. Particularly in the production of gallium arsenide semiconductors. So whatever those are, we use it for that.
I was gonna ask a question about whether or not it's conductive, but it's used to make something with conductive in the name. In fact, it's not just regular conductive; it's super
semiconductive.
Okay.
It's also used in some LED technologies and solar panels. So yeah, there's some. It definitely is helpful with electricity.
Gets electrics from one place to another.
Yeah.
temperature drops back to the melting point, it will re-solidify. You can melt and solidify the metal as often as you
in
like.
the other version of this video, the guy was saying that chemists used to take gallium and make silverware out of it, and just to fuck with each other. Because the second you pick it up or put anything warm on it, it just like probably goes limp.
It melts. Yeah, well, if you're using it to stir your tea, that's going to be super hot. So you probably now you have liquid gallium in your tea.
It's a terrible idea.
Yeah, that's probably not good there. I mean, even if it's not toxic, it's still metal.
Yeah, you're even if you do have some trace amounts of it, you're probably not supposed to have like a droplet or 3 in your body. I think it's a pretty good idea to not drink any metals.
In general, I would make that a habit.
Steel Reserve. Well, that's probably not a good idea to drink that either. Though we have.
And that just has it in the name.
Yeah.
Not a good idea anymore.
No.
Number 9, copernicium.
The British guy
Copernicium is
said
a
that one real
relatively
funny.
mysterious element because scientists have had a hard time studying it. It's a very radioactive element, and it's a metal. What makes it so strange is that when it reaches room temperature, it immediately turns into a gas. The reason why the element's so hard to study is that it decays very quickly and very easily.
So
that's pretty crazy.
They would need, like, just to study it even in the liquid form, they would need like super equipment that would be good in like really low temperatures.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to get it like a sub-zero microscope or something.
Well, it sounded like it turned into gas at room temperature. So the boiling point, you could probably do it in like a meat locker kind of temperature situation, and it would be liquid. But then from it to go to, I don't know what the freezing point is, though, if you wanted to look at it as a metal, probably have to be real cold. But it sounds like it doesn't exist in any kind of state long enough because it is so radioactive. So it kind of decays quickly into something else.
And also, just to establish this, technically anything that's solid, is that technically frozen? Like, is the freezing point just like the freezing point
that's
for
the word to
this
think
table
of it.
is way. Oh yeah, so the melting point. I guess.
Right.
Okay.
It depends on which way you're transitioning from
Gotcha.
freezing. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
And evaporating, condensating. It's the same kind of.
All right. And last thing about Copernicium, like Copernicus, that's named after Copernicus. Like,
Oh, okay.
I think. Like, what else is Copernic? Like, they
already have copper, so you can't name it after that.
Yeah. It's like, it's not copper-ish. But yeah, there's a bunch of things. Like, coming up on this list is francium. There's californium. Like, just throwing. Again, this gets back to scientists being lazy with naming shit.
Right. Just look up and see something, and this reminds me. I don't know. Copernicus found something that works. Well, our very next one is our good friend Marie Curie. But
yeah, see, there we go. Case in point.
Curium. This unique element is named after Marie Curie because she was responsible for its discovery. Each year, scientists produce just a few kilograms of this element. What makes it so unique is that it is so radioactive, it glows in the dark.
Yeah, so scientists produce it only a few kilograms per year. Is it like, it's Curium Day, and then they go in and make it? Like, I don't... Scientists producing something, I don't know what that means.
And is there just not that big of a market for it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, like, is there a guy that's just like, he's got a whole, I don't know, fridge full of it in his basement fridge? He's like, I can't unload this shit. I'm up to my fucking ears in it. I'm completely washed out. I'm underwater with this shit.
Yeah, we got to limit the supply to 1 kilogram a year. That's it, scientists. That's all I can move.
Number 7, francium. Francium is an element that occurs naturally, which means that it is not produced in a lab. It was named after the country of France. Of all the alkaline metals, francium is the most reactive. When it's at its most stable isotope, it has a half-life of just 22 minutes.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. So what do they use that to blow shit up?
I don't know. I think it's pretty scarce and tough to use. It's even tough to like study because of how quickly it decays. So they probably just literally try to use it to study radioactivity. I don't think there's much else you can do with it because if you put it in electronics, you got 22 minutes to use it before half of it's gone. And that's the most stable isotope. So the other ones.
The most stablest isotope is me. Hey, scissor fight.
Number 6, ununbium. If you studied the periodic table in school before 1996, you likely never heard of ununbium. It's because it was not created until 1996. It's classified on the periodic table with the elements that were created the same way, by combining 2 other elements together. What makes the element so unique is that none of the elements have been observed for more than a fraction of a second at a time.
I love how much of science or chemistry specifically, and I guess physics too, is just like, all right, well, let's just slam a bunch of shit into each other and just see what happens.
And the fact that it was, all right, this thing doesn't exist, but we slammed things that do exist into each other, and for a split second there was another thing. So new element, like that's not an element then. That's that's like if you throw two pool balls together and take a picture of it while they're together and say, oh, it's a new type of pool ball, and then it doesn't exist. It was just for a second they smashed into each other.
Look, I slammed the 1 and the 7 ball into each other. Now there's a 17 ball.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's cheating, scientists.
Yeah.
And to then name it ununbium, like none of this needed to happen. You could have done something else with that brain.
That's they're just the super lazy scientists Like nope, this we're just gonna keep slamming shit into each other, and it's like, all right, you're just burning through this grant money, and you're not getting anything done.
We're
sure?
making the periodic table better.
Yeah.
You're not. For who?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is my favorite name.
Bismuth. If you read the ingredients on many medications and cosmetic packages, you'll see the element bismuth. Of all the non-reactive metals on the periodic table, this is the heaviest. If you were to place a magnet between two pieces of bismuth, it would levitate indefinitely. It almost looks magical.
That made me angry. It almost looks magical. Either it looks magical or it doesn't.
Right. Kind of, if you squint, there's a little magic. Doesn't make sense.
Anytime I look at it from the left side, it's so close to looking magical, but not quite.
I like this. You could take this act on tour. It could be the mysterious bismuth. It sounds like a magician name.
Yeah, bismuth it's in Pepto-Bismol, so that's why I like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's because it's heavy. Like part of what Pepto does is like it just pushes everything down, like stuff that's like backed up, like it just kind of forces it through. I think.
Okay,
but I know it's very dense, and like it also coats your stomach. That does that as well. That's why it does all five things. Pepto-Bismol. It's very nice.
So it's like one metal that you can drink.
There we go. All right, we're already learning.
Yeah.
So and some metals not too bad to drink.
One cool thing about bismuth, though, in particular, it originally was thought to be stable, like not radioactive at all. But it was determined that it is radioactive. It's just the half-life is, in particular, the most stable isotope is bismuth 209. The half-life is longer than the current estimated age of the universe. So it's just the slowest radioactive decay.
Wow.
So for all intents and purposes, it's not radioactive, like as far as we're concerned, just compared to the universe it is.
Holy shit.
But we apparently can drink it.
Wait, all right. I think I'm confused now. So if the half-life is crazy long for the radioactivity, right? That's right. What the half-life is. So if it's a really long half-life, then isn't it just always radioactive?
Yes, but so slowly that it's not emitting much radiation.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So something with a very short half-life is going to be emitting an intense amount of radiation.
Yes. Yeah, because it's a whole bunch of shit. It's basically the proton switching to a neutron or vice versa. I forget which way it goes. But however it goes, when that happens, some type of energy has to come out. And that's what is measured as radiation because it can't create or destroy energy.
All right.
Yeah.
And this, the reason it floats between two magnets, I think they explained it a little better in that other video, but it's got something to do with it. If there's a magnet, whatever side the magnet's facing, the magnetic field of the bismuth will send the opposite.
Yeah, it doesn't care if it's north or south. It repels them both. Yeah.
Gotcha. There we go. Much more concise and less rambly way.
But equally correct.
Cool shit. That is neat.
Yeah. Neat. That's weird that just happened.
Yeah. I will say that it looks outright magical.
Yeah.
Not almost.
None of this almost.
Piece of shit.
Number 4, sulfur. There are plenty of things that make sulfur such a unique element. Many scientists call it the chameleon of the periodic table.
Yeah.
If you melt sulfur, it'll turn into a blood red liquid. If you burn sulfur, it'll produce a blue flame. Even the smell is unique, as it smells like rotten eggs.
Yeah. Fucking Stink bombs. That's all sulfur.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Skunks, there's sulfur in there. Everything that smells gross is a little sulfur almost.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed to find out garlic. I think garlic smells good. I'm a big fan of it.
I like garlic too.
I remember.
I used to live on Newdorp in Staten Island. I used to live, my backyard bordered with an Italian restaurant. So when the wind blew the right way, it was just garlic on the air. It was fantastic. Yeah.
If there isn't a singer from Staten Island who's made an album about Staten Island and hasn't called it "Garlic on the Air" on the wind,
Garlic wind.
Yeah. The garlic wind came blowing. I remember I was still figuring out like cooking stuff, and I put way too much garlic powder into a bunch of chopped meat that I was making, and I stunk. Like I had it for dinner the previous night and still had a garlicky stench about me for like a good portion of the next day. I was like, all right, well,
not just your breath, like your person.
Yeah, like emanating from my pores. And it was summer too, so I was really sweating it out.
Nice.
Yeah, it was very garlicky. Gotta cut this meat with some other meat, so the garlic isn't as strong.
I wouldn't have minded. Like, hey, come sit next to me, Charles.
You smell more delicious than you normally do. I don't know what's going on. That's got to be somebody's fetish, right? Somebody's got to be into. No, you got to smell like garlic. You have to reek of garlic.
Eat this clove and come home with me.
I was away with some friends, and there was heads of garlic on the table, and walked in and saw him, and I was like, just to the dude who was standing near it, I was like, "Yo, you won't take a bite out of that garlic like an apple?" And he was like, "All right," and just right into it. I was like, "Wow,
Jesus,
that's incredible."
Yeah, wow. I would have said, "You're right."
I too would have said that.
Yeah,
it was pretty great. It's like half hour later, it's like my mouth is still burning. Just pulling like the dry flakes out too.
Oh yeah. Biting into the whole. You got to at least clean it out to get the clove you can do something with.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I love when I only when I'm an ideas guy and it just comes to life immediately and you just get instant results from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even have to do anything. I just said, hey, "Here's the dumb, intrusive thought I had." Cool, I'll act on it.
Okay. Your wish is my command.
There was back to sulfur. I remember. I don't know what it's for, but they sell in hardware stores it's like a brick of like sulfur, like it's almost like a hard sponge, and you're supposed to use it to like, I don't know, sand shit down or something, but it stinks like sulfur. And I remember finding one of those when I was a kid in my house and just making it stank.
Yeah, just breathing.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Scratching and the old scratch and sniff.
They definitely had a scratch and sniff with the sulfur or something, I would assume.
I'm sure. Yeah,
because they had gross ones.
Yeah, smell the skunk. There's all the animal things.
Oh, that's
scratch
right.
and sniff,
Yeah.
skunk tail.
Skunk tail.
That's all they ever gave to the skunk. All the other animals, like, feel the soft ears, or here's its scratchy hooves, or I don't know, whatever the hell. The skunk is just always this one stinks.
Yeah, here, smell this piece of shit that nobody likes.
Yeah.
Skunks need to get a better PR person.
And that's why they were able, because I see some pretty skunks. There's one in this neighborhood that's like mostly white, and it like is almost
racist,
glow in the dark to a point. Well, no, it's black and white. It's mixed, but it's just normally it's just a one white stripe down the back.
Uh-huh.
This one is so bright, and it's like Yeah, because it doesn't need to hide. Even the other animals are like, I ain't eating that thing. I'm not going anywhere near it.
So is it like inverted? Is it like white with a black stripe?
Kind of, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's almost like a reverse mohawk.
It's a reverse skunk. It shoots out nice smelling things.
If only.
Number 3, helium. Helium is a well-known element. If you've ever had balloons at your birthday party, you've used helium. While it is a very well-known element, it's also very unique. Not only is helium odorless and colorless, it's also tasteless. If it comes into contact with another element, it doesn't react. When helium reaches 272 degrees Celsius, it becomes a superfluid. Under the right circumstances, it can actually defy gravity. There's no other elements on the periodic table that have this kind of power. The next time you attend a birthday party with balloons, you can say thank you to the person who discovered
Only
helium.
if they're at that birthday party.
That's true.
And I bet they're dead, so you probably can't do that.
Right. Yeah, you can just say it to the sky. Pour some out. You have to like let a little helium go for the for the guy that invented helium or whatever.
Also, I like when they bring up that an element is tasteless. Like, did they have all the elements, and then there was a taster, like somebody had to taste each element and describe it.
You're like, nah, this one nothing.
Yeah, nothing on this one either. It's crazy. I don't know.
Ooh, that chloride was bad.
or it's tasteless. Like it just says a lot of crude and insulting things all the time to all the other elements. Could be that.
No class,
Yeah.
no taste. Yeah.
They didn't put the one that's the opposite of helium on here, or the thing that does the opposite to your voice.
Oh,
I
okay.
just thought of that. Helium opposite.
While you looked that up, though, I thought it was pretty cool that helium doesn't really go to liquid state. It goes to that superfluid.
Yeah, superfluid.
So it's kind of like halfway between liquid and gas.
Yeah, I guess I just kind of glazed right over that. What? So it's not technically a liquid?
No, it's like a different phase of matter.
Have we talked about that with like stars and shit?
We might have touched on it at some point that they're different because there was they use it in dry cleaning with like carbon to actually use the superfluid.
Really?
It's like dry ice in the next form. How it skips I don't know if it is carbon. Whatever they use a superfluid in dry cleaning. But yeah, it's just another state of matter that it's not a gas, not a fluid. It's a gas that kind of lines up in a fluidish way. It behaves like a fluid, but it's still see-through.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like we have figured that out in various different industries and stuff. We use that for different reasons. But when it happens to helium, if it's in a cup, the superfluid of helium will actually climb the side of the cup and try to get out the outside to reach a place that's warmer because it prefers to be in a gaseous state.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some sci-fi movie shit.
Yeah, helium it's an element with a preference. How about that?
The whatever I'm thinking of that was similar to it, something being a super state, was that? I don't remember what.
Superfluid.
No, but like in stars, like in the cores of stars, like it's so hot where it's not necessarily a solid or a liquid.
Oh, that's more like a plasma.
Yeah, plasma. There you go. That was that thing. That's both.
Yeah, and that's kind of where the electrons aren't really connected to any one particular atom. It's just kind of like a free flowing electron soup, and even the quarks kind of start to get a little bit soupy as well. Quark, gluon, plasma.
Cool beans. And sulfur hexafluoride. So it's not an element; it's actually a compound. It's the same as, just makes your voice deeper as opposed to higher pitched, like helium.
Gotcha.
I saw a video of one of the opening bands I saw at when I went to Red Rocks over the summer. Was this guy Andy Frasco and the UN? and he was posting video of himself recording vocals for one of their albums, and he's using that stuff so he can do lower harmonies with his own voice.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was really neat. I was like, look at this fucking guy. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Found the use.
Yeah. They're nuts. They're a great band. It's one of the best live bands I've seen in some time. Like, they put on such a good show. Their music is like almost kind of like indie rockish, but they have so much fucking energy. Like, this dude's standing on his piano, like jumping up and down like he's trying to stomp his way through the floor. Just passing around bottles of fucking Jameson on stage, just swigging it.
Nice.
Dude smoking butts mid-song. Just like, it's like, this is like a blues band from the 70s. Like, it has that kind of energy too. It's like, we don't care what happens to us at all.
Right. It's for your entertainment.
Yeah, they're good stuff.
All right, I'll check them out.
Alrighty, moving.
Before you move on, though, I looked up. It's CO2 that's used for dry cleaning, so it's actual carbon dioxide. But it's supercritical fluid. I was saying superfluid, but supercritical fluid. So it's supercritical CO2.
Supercritical. Hey, you have ugly shoes, and you're too short, and one of your eyes is bigger than the other eye, and you smell kind of bad, and enough for me to notice. It's just
like, well, just don't go near CO2 when it's supercritical. It's under a lot of pressure.
CO2, dick.
Number 10, silicon. This element is found in all computer chips. It's also found in many types of electronics, and it's very common in sand. Over the past 3 decades, this element has been used quite often.
I didn't know that about
technological revolution. If it weren't for silicon, we wouldn't have much of the technology that we use today. The next time you log onto your computer or watch a Faxverse video, you could thank silicon for that. Most tech giants are located in Silicon Valley, and now you know why they named it that.
Mm-hmm.
This guy gets more and more annoying as the video goes on. Stop telling me to thank people.
Right. I'll do what I want to do.
Yeah, you can do that. Why don't you go ahead and do this? Like, no, shut up. Don't tell me what to do. I'm already watching your video, bro. Fucking trying to put ideas in my head. Silica gel? Is that made of silicon?
It's probably part of it. I would imagine with that name.
Silicon dioxide. All right, there we go. It's a compound.
Okay.
And are those those packs that keep stuff dry that they put in stuff and say don't eat it?
Yeah. Do not eat.
Stop making silica so goddamn delicious and maybe I'll stop eating it.
That's on you.
Sake. Yeah, and with the Silicon Valley thing, I always assumed it was like some part of having to do with computers. Like, I didn't know the specifics of it, but
yeah, it's in all the chips basically. And I know the silicon. There's a ton of it. I think it's somewhere between 20 to 30% of the Earth's crust is made of silicon.
Oh, no shit.
Silicon. Yeah.
It's in a lot of stuff, or it's got a lot of different uses too. Like there's the caulking and shit like that when you're doing like bathroom work.
It's in boobies.
Yes, very aware of that one. Nice job on that one, Silicon. Right. Fantastic job. Which I've heard that they've been using saline now instead of silicone for breast implants.
Yeah, I think that there's different things you can, and there are different price ranges and stuff too. You can get your budget boobies.
Budget boobies. Where is that store?
I don't know. Yeah, but it's funny that we're technically living in the silicon age versus like the iron age and the bronze age and stuff like that. That's kind of our thing. I bet none of those ages thought to use any of those metals for boobs. So
yeah, probably not. I mean, only like the closest thing would probably be any armor that was made for a lady.
Yeah, have to have a little bump out.
Yeah. If movies would have us believe anything. It's the ladies definitely need a boobs part for their armor.
Yeah, but they don't need a lot covering anywhere else, though. Women fight with not a lot of clothes, apparently. Not a lot of armor.
And you got to protect the boobs. That is the most important part that needs to be saved, apparently.
Right.
Number 1, carbon. Carbon is such a unique element because it is the most necessary element to sustain life. It's literally found in everything, and it makes up the weight of 20% of all living things. If carbon didn't exist, we wouldn't
So the
exist.
next time you see a carbon, make sure to thank the carbon. Fuck you, asshole.
Carbon were to cease to exist, life as we know it would completely disappear.
Carbon is...
You say that about a lot of things.
Yeah. But... You explaining during the 3D printing shit, episode 24. Our least downloaded episode, by the way. Go listen. It's a good fucking episode.
Hell yeah. We're talking about downloading sandwiches. Come on.
Hey, Deandra, go download me a hoagie off the internet. But yeah, like that it's the way the element like forms a lattice, right? Like that's what
right.
That's what
You
allows
can kind of build complex structure that's fairly stable.
So it's like the framework for everything, essentially. Mm-hmm. And 20% of everything is carbon. Is it
all living things?
All living things.
20% of all living things is carbon. Yeah.
Gotcha. And how much of that is? Do you know how much of that is in the Earth's surface or in the crust?
I don't. I think I'm gonna go with a shit ton. But let me see what the actual
1 metric shit ton. Plants. So that's all carbon right there. Anything living. Yeah. So there's lots of that.
So I mean it's not a lot of it in the Earth's crust.
Okay.
It's like a 0.25% or something like that.
Right, which was the actual question that I asked. Thank you for paying attention to what I say, because I certainly don't pay attention to what I say.
Yeah. And even in the air, there's not that much. It's only about the other one was 0.025. This is 0.04%. So there's not a lot of it that is actually free. It seems to be mostly in us, or us meaning,
and it's even
everything alive.
It's breathed out as part of carbon dioxide.
That's
where most of that probably comes from, right? Most of the carbon in the air,
again,
presumably so.
Right, exactly. And it's crazy that there's not that much in the air compared to some of the other stuff. I mean, again, like we've talked about, it's mostly nitrogen. It's like 80% nitrogen.
So,
and then a big chunk is oxygen, and there's just a little bit of carbon and some other shit, and that's enough.
So everything that procreates, I guess mammals, people. So sperm fertilizes egg, and then there's just a bunch of carbon in there too. Is it like drawing carbon out of
I'm guessing
the mother,
cells?
or?
Like you're getting down to the microscopic level, you have a cell, and the cell is made of various elements, and 20% of each cell is made of carbon.
Okay.
So then the cell is splitting, or cloning itself, and then doubling as.
Gotcha.
As the baby is becoming a fetus or whatever.
Okay, so all right, that makes more sense. Yeah, because cells are tiny, and then that's right. This is atoms that we're talking about, which are so much smaller than cells.
Yeah, tinier.
How big is a cell compared to an atom? Let's see if I can find that.
That's a very good question. I'm going to say, though, that it's going to be like a staggeringly big number.
Yeah, the size of an atom is 10 to the negative 10 m, where a cell is 10 to negative 6 m.
Okay, so yeah, that's 4 orders of magnitude.
There we go. Orders of magnitude. Yeah. I want a perspective thing, though. I'm looking around, seeing if I can find a picture. Nah, All right. Oh,
Here, I'm just reading this first Google search real quick. Scientists estimate the average cell, human cell, contains about 100 trillion atoms.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Holy shit. One cell is 100 trillion atoms.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I found this one that is comparing a hydrogen atom to the diameter of the sun, and the example that bridges the two is Danny DeVito.
How so?
On a scale of smallest to largest things we can see in the solar system, we sit pretty much dead in the middle. Or Danny DeVito does. At 1.5 meters, he's about 10 billion times bigger than an atom and 1 billion times smaller than the diameter of the sun.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So Danny DeVito is the center of the universe.
I can get with that.
Right. And we have a bonus element, which I'm telling you right out of the gate, I'm calling bullshit on this. But you can convince me otherwise.
Here's a bonus element for you, Fordite. Scientists discover new things every day, and many are quite amazing. One really cool discovery recently was Fordite. It's a type of stone that looks like a mineral, but it's much more bizarre than that. It was found deep inside a cave. Fordite is also known as Detroit agate, and it's not a rock or a mineral. It consists of thousands of layers of automobile paint that are hardened.
Hardened when cars are
hand-painted.
So how did they discover it in a cave?
They kind of skipped over that. It sounds like, was this waste? Were we dumping waste in a cave? Is that what happened? And over time, it turned into this colorful rock.
That's like a kid just piling up a bunch of trash and shit in his room and being told to clean the room. It's like, no, I'm making an element. If I could bring it back, so I think you should leave. The mother goes in to clean the room, and he could stop, please! I'm doing something.
No, it doesn't seem like it's. I don't know. However it got there is very, I don't know, just glossed over. I guess just look at this, because it sounds like, I don't know, when they were hand painting the cars, the waste dripping off and going through pipes and ending up in a cave. Like, I don't think it's not safe. It's not sound. It seems like it was, maybe I'm making something out of nothing.
Well, they're really leaning into the whole Ford Detroit thing too. It's like, come on, shut up.
When the paint is baked again and again, it becomes encrusted on the machines that are used to paint cars. When people saw Fordite, they saw the beauty of it. Today, it's often used in
when people
jewelry.
saw Fordite,
Textures are
when they were scraping the shit off of their tools.
Right, yeah. And again, where's this cave coming from? Is this nah, just take the shit in that cave, scrape it in there. Nobody knows. Just leave it. Like,
all right, I'm going to go. I got to clean my equipment off. I'm going to bring it all down to the cave. I'll be back in a few. Gross.
Sure, you kill off the wildlife.
Are psychedelic, which makes it an element high in demand because of its beauty. Best of all, the element is very eco-friendly. This element can be recycled for better purposes. There's a unique pattern inside.
Instead of being in this cave where it's killing the local whatever lives in the cave, you can recycle it and turn it into a paperweight. I don't know. You're not...
Like, I'm starting to wonder, like, who paid for this video to get made?
Somebody in Detroit or Ford.
Yeah, someone in the automotive industry somewhere.
Sponsored by.
And look what we did with definitely not our garbage and waste.
It's magically collecting in this cave that scientists just found. And it's eco-friendly.
Too. The inside of the element is so beautiful, it looks like something that you'd find in a museum. What makes the element so unique is the way it's created. You don't need to dig deep or go mining for the element. All you need to do is go to an automobile shop that handles painting cars. If you scrape the machine, you'll have a very beautiful and unique stone. Since they're created while painting cars, no stone will ever look alike.
You just go in there and just start scraping their fucking machines. They love it.
But then how does it get into rocks? Like, it's obviously being shaped.
Yeah, it was dumped. It was whoever dumped it made this video and they're trying to play it off like it's just a weird element. It's the same as fucking gallium.
Yeah, you don't even have to dig deep for this one because we just threw shit all over the cave. No digging required. Look this up.
Huh. Just outside the Ford plant in Detroit. Interesting.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Upcycled. There's the word, not recycled. Yeah, there's a lot of. There's a very strong effort to control a narrative in this last minute of the video.
There's a bonus element.
This is something you can't say for most of the elements on the periodic.
I can say one thing about the other elements on the periodic table that you can't say about Fordite is that they're actual fucking elements, not a bunch of paint. Because paint is made of shit. You can't just now. It's even worse than what was the Abundium or whatever the hell. I forget what the name of that bullshit one was already.
Yeah,
Unundium. Yeah. Where you just smash shit together. And no, that was definitely an element. Like paint is made up of paint is a compound of a whole different bunch of stuff.
Right.
Now, because we're sticking different colors together, you're gonna say, "Oh, this is a cool element, and it's good for the environment."
Yeah, it's like they didn't even try to know what element means.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying paint is compounds, which compounds are made of multiple elements.
Right.
So there's already once elements get added together, they're no longer elements, they're compounds.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Fordite, what's your atomic number? Let's start with that.
Yeah. That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
What's your boiling point?
Yeah.
Actually, that's probably not a bad question.
Yeah, it probably melts first, but whatever.
Right here, I don't know if you can see on the screen. Fordite is not an element and is not a stone and is not found in caves.
Thank you, comments.
Yeah. Fordite cave. We'll look that up. It's not even a thing that comes up.
Yeah. I mean, and we're not even done with weird elements. They only gave 10 and then just went right into this fake thing.
But
and also, are carbon and silicon really that weird or unique or strange if they're in like most of the stuff? This strange element makes up most of everything you know.
Hey, you see this crazy weird element oxygen that we all breathe and is necessary for life on the planet? Isn't that crazy and weird? It's fucking amazing.
It's amazing, yes, but it's not weird. And the things that happened were just like, how? But
it's actually quite commonplace. Yeah, that's our elements. There are 10 of them. And one not element.
one bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't even. The whole reason I wanted to go with this one was because it had that on there, and I was like, I couldn't put my finger on why I was mad about it. It just didn't sound right. So I'm glad we hashed this out. Got to the bottom of this
we just needed to talk about it.
Cool shit. All right.
I mean, I have other elements.
Oh, do you?
If you want to, yeah, because they like I said, they skipped over some basic ones.
All right, well, what do we got?
Well, there's one metal that we use all the time that is super weird because at room temperature, it's in a liquid state. It's mercury.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows mercury from telling you what temperature it is and stuff. But its freezing point is negative 37 degrees Fahrenheit.
Holy shit.
Negative 38 degrees Celsius. They get pretty close, oddly.
Thermometers definitely broke. in cold places where it got down that cold.
Yeah. It just
because it freezes.
Well, I guess no, because it wouldn't. Water is the only thing that expands when it freezes. Mercury would probably contract when it became a solid, so it may not actually pop the glass.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Most things contract when they freeze. Water is strange. It arranges in like an H2, like again almost like a lattice. The way the ice particles form and the molecules structure themselves.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Which is another fucking amazing, wow, this domino falling. Because if water didn't do that, there again wouldn't be life. Because water expands when it freezes, ice is less dense and floats. If it was like everything else and contracted, ice would sink. So instead of having a layer of ice over the water where the fish can live and be, somewhat insulated because of the amount of stuff around them, the ice would sink and drive them up until it was frozen from the bottom and the fish died in the shallow water, and the ice would eventually build up from the bottom.
That's right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because anytime anything like during the winter, it's like oh the door closes weird now because it's colder in the house generally. And
So it shrinks a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, I guess I never realized that. I mean, I guess never reconciled those two ideas.
Right, yeah.
All right, cool. Neato. Good job, Water.
Yeah, thanks for being another key component of life.
Yeah, thanks for making hockey possible. Appreciate you, Water. Who else we got?
Sorry, I was going to cut you off. I cut you off. Were you going to say something there? Or?
Oh, I don't remember.
All right, cool. So I will move on to iridium. Iridium is one of the densest naturally occurring elements, along with another one called osmium, which I think is the densest. Osmium is pretty rare on Earth, but iridium is very, very rare on Earth. It's they use it in some compounds and stuff because it's more stable than other elements, but it's very rare in the Earth's crust, except in one particular location in the crust. That's one of the reasons why we realize that an asteroid must have hit Earth at some point, because it's common in out of space objects. So there's that one layer where where did all this iridium come from?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So, yeah.
What was the other one? Osmium?
Osmium, yeah. I might be saying these wrong, but OSM-IUM. So it seems like osmium or osmium.
No, these are, you said they're the dense, what amount of this would weigh as much as Manhattan? Is what I'm trying to figure out.
Osmium is the densest naturally occurring element, and it's around 22.59 grams per cubic centimeter. I don't know how to what's the word I'm looking for? Translate that into Manhattan.
Convert.
Yeah.
I'm a little rusty on my Manhattan times tables. Not 100% on it.
But I would think an island smaller than Manhattan.
I almost said Staten Island would weigh as much as Manhattan, but I think Staten Island's kind of wider. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think it would be much smaller. Yeah. But I have no idea.
Certainly not a long island.
No.
Boo. All right, who else we got?
They didn't talk about cesium, and that's your name, right? Cesium coming this way.
Oh, they talked about cesium in the other video. That's right.
Yeah.
That was the other one. In season 1 of Rick and Morty, there's an episode where aliens are trying to steal Rick's recipe for portal fluid through a whole bunch of whatever. He finally gives them the recipe, how to make it, whatever. It's something like plutonic quarks. I don't know what that is. Cesium, and then a cap full of bottled water. And while watching that other video, cesium explodes when water gets dumped on it. So I was like, holy shit, that was a scientifically accurate somewhat, because the aliens make the thing and it blows their ship up. So I was like, holy fuck.
Oh, damn. I guess that show knows their chemistry better than we do.
But what is it? What's its deal? What's cesium's deal?
Aside from being explosive in water, it's used for atomic clocks. It, for whatever reason, cesium is extremely accurate when it comes to timekeeping devices. So they use them in space. There's cesium atomic clocks have been used in space exploration missions, contributing to precise navigation and timing in satellite systems.
Oh man, but how? How does it? It seems like there's like a chunk missing in there of information. Like, how does it? Yeah,
I don't know. It's one of only 5 elements that are liquid at or near room temperature. So it has a very, very low melting point.
Okay.
Maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know though.
That's so weird.
But it's very, very, and the weird thing about it, it's so reactive that it's never found in nature as a free element. It's always with something. It's usually got to get it from some other kind of mineral where it's a compound.
Tease it out of something. That's fucking nuts, man.
Very, very.
So atomic clocks, like regular clocks, work like gears and shit, right? Basic timekeeping watches and shit like that.
And some kind of metronome where a certain thing swings back and forth this amount of times, and that's how you know the seconds and all that kind of stuff. In a lot of cases.
So then, how do atomic clocks work?
Atomic clocks is like measuring the vibrations of atoms, almost like they have like a wobble.
Holy shit! I had no idea.
So apparently, cesium has a very regular wobble, or whatever the scientific term for that is.
Okay, yeah, that kind of answers my question then. Yeah, I guess I was asking how atomic clocks work, but got so overwhelmed by cesium.
I don't know why cesium is so regular, but I guess it's a diet and probiotics.
It's very consistent. You can wind your watch to cesium, I've heard.
Quite literally. Yeah.
Even then, how do you figure that out?
Yeah, right.
I made a clock that gets that's so accurate from just from looking at atoms.
And especially if like you're measuring consistency with some, like you have your stopwatch. And it's not exactly the same. Well, that's because it's more accurate than your watches. Oh, okay. Well then, why am I using this? Let's use that.
Take that, Fordite. Fucking useless.
I mean, I have more, but I just want to at least just hit one more.
Definitely.
Because we talked about garlic. Yeah. So there's an element called tellurium. It's a metalloid, and we use it in a lot of, I guess, electronics. Again, it's good with conducting
like
things.
A metalloid maniac?
But he built it. He built it. It is his ground.
It is his ground.
You got to move faster.
Was it tellurium with a
tellurium?
With a T?
Tell with a U, R-I-U-M.
Tellurium.
But yeah, it's used in solar cells, and it's a metal, but it's brittle like glass. One of the bad things about it, though, and the reason why I wanted to touch on it, is it has a particular odor, a distinctive and somewhat repulsive odor similar to that of garlic. So it reacts with moist air and will give that off. But there are cases where if you're working with it or you're near it when it's reacting and you inhale it, your breath can actually smell like garlic from breathing tellurium in.
Oh, man.
Which sounds fantastic, but it actually means you're dying. you have tellurium poisoning.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So first your breath smells like garlic, and then it's like you watch them open the Ark at the end of the first Indiana Jones movie.
That's fucking.
I guess you need a lot of it though, but yeah.
Out here huffing tellurium, trying to get that garlic breath, bro.
Yeah. Just stick with the garlic wind.
It's way cheaper. Just bite a garlic. Your breath will smell like garlic for hours.
And burn.
Who else we got?
Let's see here. Like there's Neptunium, which is a big heavy element that is synthetic. Like I'm not even sure it's in real life like exists, but we created it because it's used in production of plutonium for nuclear reactors. So we created it so we can bomb better.
Nice. It was very nice of us to figure it
out.
Well, we can murder way more people with this all at once.
We just got to make this new element. Yeah.
Hey, how was work today? I discovered a new element, and I think it's really going to help murder a lot of people. Oh, that's very nice.
Good for you.
Good job, honey. Pass the turkey gravy.
Technetium. So this is the first element on the periodic table that does not have any stable isotopes. So it doesn't matter how many neutrons this thing has on the inside, it will decay. But it's used in medical imaging, and it's still being studied, though, as far as its chemical properties. There's a weirdness to it.
Now, like X-rays, like medical imaging, or is there different?
Yeah, similar. I don't know if it's MRIs, X-rays, CAT scans, whatever the case might be, but yeah, that kind of stuff. And it was also the first element to be artificially produced.
Oh, neato.
So it existed in nature, and then we figured out how to make it fake too.
You just slammed a bunch of shit into each other, and then
yeah,
hey, we have this.
That'll work.
We have this thing. MRI tip, by the way, which my wife discovered. When they give you the option for what do you want to listen to for music, Tool. I don't know what songs she was listening to specifically, but there's already a lot of weird banging and shit going on around you anyway, and it just kind of complements it. And also, the songs are long as fuck, so
that's true too.
Help the time go by.
I would be tempted to go the other way. Just pick something real obscure and short songs and like Naughty Mexican or something no one else has. Well, Pig Destroyer would work, I guess. But
yeah. Oh, that'd be chaos.
Fire up the first 3 Pig Destroyer albums. I'll be in here.
The last MRI I had, guy said, "What do you want to hear?" I said, "Well, what are you playing the music through?" I was like, "Spotify or anything like that." He said, "I got YouTube, whatever you want on YouTube." Gave him the Wu-Tang Led Zeppelin thing that you found or that you sent out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was like, I can listen to this.
Yeah.
That's
it's pretty cool.
It is. That's good shit. I'm gonna listen to that again. I completely forgot about it.
And normally I hate mashups. It has to be pretty unique or spectacular for me to get with it.
Yeah, it was pretty well executed.
Yeah, I don't know why mashups to me. It's like, well, I like the Mona Lisa, but it'd be cool if we took I don't know, that pitchfork from that farmer picture. What is that? Whistler's Mother or something like that?
That's the American Gothic. Whistler's Mother is the lady in the rocking chair.
Either way, let's get that rocking chair and put the Mona Lisa in that. And that would be cool. Like, leave it how it is. We don't need to mash anything up, unless it's Slipknot and Justin Bieber.
There was I'm losing it. The Wugazi one was pretty good. I don't know if you listened to that.
I haven't. What was it?
Wu-Tang and Fugazi. At the
makes sense with the name.
It's I forget which album, but yeah, we'll find that. Send you that as well. It's pretty groovy.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's got good elements of both. Speaking of elements, you got any more elements there?
what elements? No, I think that's the other ones are just kind of more of the same. That these are, not very stable and radioactive in a lot of circumstances. There's a lot of those. We kind of made them in a lab and dubbed them elements, but they don't really exist that well in nature, or they combine with something else usually to be stable.
Is there actually an unobtainium like in Avatar?
Not that I'm aware of, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Again, you're starting to get into the bottom of that periodic table. I don't know.
Yep, just fiction. Just did a cursory glance. See, I knew that movie was fake.
It's a stupid name anyway. But can't touch him.
On the nose, too much him.
Yeah.
Really, this thing that's hard to get is called unobtainium? No shit.
Yeah. Yeah, at least name it after the guy who found it, like everybody else.
Imagine we're trashing it, and it was like Fred Unobtainy. It's like it was named after me.
That's what
I found it.
It's the only thing I've ever done.
I found it to be quite ironic that I obtained something, and then they're calling it unobtainium. Yeah, they're getting it. Why wasn't it obtainium at that point? Why didn't they drop the un?
Yeah.
Get your prefixes right.
That's right. It's like Kid Rock. You're like 50. You're not Kid nothing. You're dude pop country.
Back to Avatar for a sec. Visually, very cool fucking movie. I saw that in the theater with 3D glasses, and
nice.
Yeah, there's a part when they're flying on on those fucking things that like they dip down, and my stomach legit dropped. Like I was.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, you were into it.
It was pretty fucking neat to look at, but as far as like,
that's really cool.
Story and story wise, it was Dances with Wolves. It was Dances with Wolves all over again.
Kind of. I thought it was Fern Gully.
Okay, yeah.
Either way,
the fact that there's multiple fucking movies already that you're like, oh, this is the same exact movie. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's always this guy was a dick, but that's because he didn't understand other people, and now he joined them, and
like it's
fought.
Isn't that the same as like any movie where a teacher goes to teach at an inner city school? Like Bill Burr has the bit about it, and by the end of the movie, she's like wearing her hat backwards and
they're teaching how to dance. Yeah.
Last thing before we go, I am not the first person to be saying this, but holy shit, I saw Talk to Me. It's the A24 spooky movie. It's like a hand. You touch a hand, and it was like the hand of a psychic that was cut off, and you see ghosts when you touch the hand.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
I don't do spooky movies.
That's right. You don't.
I'm a bitch.
I like little bitch movies, but spooky movies not so much. I always just assumed everybody liked spooky movies, but apparently not.
And if you watch TV, you would get that assumption too, because it's like every other commercial break has the trailer for this new crazy movie, and don't worry, we're gonna. I know you were watching basketball, but here's a jump scare. And another thing, that's mainstream, right? That horror movies everybody's fine with them. Yeah. But I listen to Slayer, or you listen to Slayer, and like, ooh, that's devil worshiping music or something like that. It's like, no, it's not. You're watching fucking Exorcist. There's literally devils in it. Like, this is just, I don't know. That's always been my complaint about it. It's the horror equivalent of music.
Yeah.
Music equivalent of horror.
Kicks ass. Fucking Slayer. Slayer is great. And I think that's a strong place to wrap up this episode about elements, that Slayer fucking rules.
Yeah. if you learned anything on this podcast, it should be listen to Slayer.
100%. Under the Guise of Science, Guise always spelled Guise. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and gmail.com.
And also on YouTube and TikTok, we are Under the Guise of Science. And on X/Twitter, we are at Science Guys.
Patreon, you can also Patreon us if you'd like. We currently have 2. If we could double that number, like, we're only like covering half of the expense of this out of our own pocket. So yeah, if you like the show, and you want to be on the show, apparently, just
limited time offer to people we actually know. You can come co-host the show. If not, if you're someone that for some reason wants to give us money that we don't know personally, we'll figure out a tier for you. We'll give you something. I don't know what.
Yeah, we'll have tears coming right out of your eyes. That's how good the fucking episode that you pick is going to be. There you go. You pick an episode, pick a topic.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah, cool. All right. There, that's your gift.
That's your supply. You come through with the demand.
If you donate money to us, we will let you do show prep. So
yeah. It's a win-win. Shit, cut that part out.
Cool. All righty. We're done.
I listen to Far Bar.
Yeah. See you next time, fuckers.